My name is Colin, and I have nothing profound to say. Today, I want to talk about detachment, which I think is a very familiarized term through recent years in social media. I think it's one of those terms that went through sort of a semantic shift, sort of lost its original definition, as many things do through linguistics and the media. But I sort of want to revert it back to its original form. And my idea of that is, detaching yourself from your initial reaction and your emotion so that you can have a clearer mind when you confront things. And that idea to me is good in essence. One of the things that I've read up on about that original idea is this technique where you essentially train your mind in such a way that you allow emotion to pass through you and you become the observer of the emotion that is passing through you. This allows you this space of neutrality towards whatever may have caused the initial reaction or the emotion itself. Now, the reason that this technique works is becoming third party to the impressing reflex that your brain retreats to. You therefore revoke your claim to that propensity. Essentially, you grant yourself the ability to rid the cognitive bias of your own mechanisms that evoke behavioral patterns that you want to overhaul, you want control of, right? It's kind of like if you were giving advice to a friend that you could only sympathize with, except you can sympathize and empathize with that because it's you. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So the sympathizing is the portion where you detach yourself. You sort of sterilize this weight. However, you're able to empathize with it also because you understand how poignant it would be if you were reacting to it. It's kind of a double think, which makes it hard to conceptualize, but the dichotomy doesn't preclude the validity of it. The point of allowing yourself that sort of ambivalence is to ensure that you don't solely rely on the detachment itself. Because if you rely on that detachment, you rely on it to carry you through the digestment of your own experience. The idea of detachment really can be extremely dangerous to yourself. If you're unable to be opaque, right? Unable to be clear with your mind and your body and your spirit all in synergy, this process sort of dies in flames. And I really do mean in flames. Now, I know that this is another word that has had quite the semantic shift through social media, but disassociation. That is a very real thing and a very real effect of detachment. Now, this process leads to that because we as humans are meant to feel. We are meant to be. We are meant to interact with each other. And if you fall headfirst into this idea of detachment, you will deny yourself the sublimity of human life. You'll find that you are now observing your joy, that you're now observing the love for others, the love for your friends, the times that you're with them. You'll find that you're in finite moments and you're not appreciating because you are rather observing it instead. And this is one of those very important, very intrinsical things of this idea of detachment that you need to be aware of before you are able to healthily do it, to healthily go about it. You will end up building the walls of Jericho over merchants, over sellswords, right? We, as humans, sort of have this beauty, which is the virtuosity of emotional alchemy. This transfiguration of your emotions that you have control of. You have neuroplasticity on your side, and it allows you to shape yourself in any sort of way that you view, that you imagine, that you want to be, and all you have to do is work at it. I think that a lot of times we lose our sense of self in that, which is another problem with detachment. We lose our sense of self by not allowing ourselves to be. So you do have to be in harmony with what you want out of life in the past, present, and future. You have to accept the old parts of yourself to allow yourself to be present. And to be present, you have to allow yourself to love you in the future. Because if you don't do those things, you don't have any idea of you. And I guess we never really do. I guess we never really know what we want, what type of jobs we work. We are ever changing. And that's part of the beauty of it. And so that's why I think that you should allow yourself to love, allow yourself to feel pain even, because it is detrimental and so important in recognizing yourself and becoming who you are, what it leads you to. I think that everything you let go of should have claw marks when it leaves your hands. I think that you really should hold on to the things that make you human, even the pain, even the suffering, because it allows you to be. And what I mean by allowing yourself to be is allowing the faults, allowing the consequences of your action, allowing your flaws, because they will always be there. And the fact that they are always there means that they are a part of you. It's okay to have intrinsic values of yourself that are part of you that are problematic. We should take the steps to change them and become healthy in certain ways, but at the end of the day, this is a part of the acceptance to yourself. This is part of the love and the appreciation that you build with the relationship of yourself. You know, you really can, especially through this working of your mind, becoming observer to your emotions, you really are able to distinct the parts of you that you are able to have a relationship with individually. And that is so, so important when it comes to being able to change yourself. You have to allow yourself to recognize that you have problems and be okay with the fact that you have problems if you want to be able to change them and become the better person that you are. And I hope that was all coherent.